West Africa 1823. The opening ceremony states that the kingdom of Dahomey has been crowned a young king Gizo. Their enemies, the Oyo Empire, teamed up with the Mahi to capture Dahomey villages and hand them over to European slave traders. The Oyo's guns and horses have the advantage. Dahomey has a group of Amazonian female warriors Agoj, led by General Nanisca, who are ready to protect their kingdom. Kavuchi infiltrates Mahi village to slaughter soldiers, then meets captured villagers and frees them. In the morning, Argo Street mourns the dead and escorts the captives home. Warriors back home before more Oyo arrives at what Jezo considers Nanisca most important to him trustworthy soldier. A young woman, Noe, is taken to a man who is willing to marry her, despite his age and savagery. When Noe didn't respond to the man, he slapped her, and she responded by pushing him hard and making him fall. He was angry and refused to marry her. Noe's father took her to Agoj, dedicated her to the king. She is taken in by Agoji's soldier Izogi. The Oyo soldiers, led by General Oba-Aid, encountered the bodies of their comrades. Oba-Aid insults them to have their soldiers murdered by women, and they plan to take Dahomey next. Gizo addresses his parliament to discuss the Oyo threat. Nanisca also mentioned the slave trade, saying it cast a shadow over their kingdom because they betrayed their people. She advises them to trade in gold or palm oil. Gizo asked Nanisca to show him how much palm oil they could use produced before he made a decision. Nanisca's right-hand man, Amenza, addresses the newly added Akoji members, telling them that they will fight for, and possibly die for, the kingdom. Several women left, but a large group, including Noe, chose to stay. Izogi then tells Noe to go take a shower, so she does so and talks to Nanisca herself. The women begin their training. Noe didn't understand why they started with the rope, feeling she should have started with the bladed weapon, until Nanisca allowed her to try on the wooden statue to decapitate it. The sword was too heavy for Nevi, and Nanisca chopped off his head with a swing. Izogi talking at night Noe and spoke about how her mother allowed men to abuse her until she fought back. The women then continued their training by shooting rifles and learning combat skills. Noe pranks her by detonating a small dynamite on one of the statues. When Nanisca blamed her, she took the blame. Later, Izogi tells Noe how Nanisca's deeds are considered legendary because she rose to her ranks after being captured. Amenza visits Nanisca in her cabin and tells her with special nuts that she has seen someone from Nanisca's past come back to her. Nanisca is outside watching Neve practicing her swordsmanship on one of the statues. Oyo arrives at the gates of the kingdom to confront Gizo. When Oba-Aid steps forward, Nanisca is shocked that Oba-Aid raped her repeatedly while in captivity. They ordered tribute and asked for 40 Agoji warriors, but Gizo only allowed 20. Nanisca tells Amenza her vision, it is true. Portuguese settlers arrived in Africa led by Captain Santa Ferreira and his friend Malik, whose mother was Dahomey. Malik was horrified when he saw the captive natives. The men joined the scene when Agoji confronted Oyo. Nanisca said they won't pay tribute to them, but give the heads of his minions to Oba-Ada. A fight broke out between the two tribes, and Navy saw an opportunity to free the captives, which Nanisca said deviates from their plan. After they escaped, Nanisca gritted her teeth, but Amanza privately told Nanisca that she had strayed from the plan because she was more concerned with killing Obad. Ferreira and Malik met with Oba-Aid and his soldiers, and they were discussing a plan for the Oyo to join forces with other tribes to invade Dahomey and capture more villages for sale. Malik seemed uncomfortable with the news. He later went to bathe near the water, where he was found naked by Noe. She accused him of being a slave trader, but he denied it and told her of his Dahomey heritage. He gave her a piece of jewelry before she retreated to the others. The kingdom hosts a mini-tournament in which Agoji cadets race through obstacles, in which Thornbush climbs walls to fight the enemy, culminating in beheading one of the statues. Norway came out as the winner, and Gizo acknowledged her skill and talent. After taking care of Norway's wound, Nanisca felt something on the girl's arm. She goes back to her room, with Amanza following her. Nanisca asks her about the child she gave up long ago, as she begins to suspect that Navi might be that child. Ferreira talks to Gizo about his possible plans to stop Dahomey's involvement in the slave trade, telling him that his wealth came from slaves and that without them his kingdom would be nothing and unprotected. Gizo counters that if Europeans are no longer useful to him, then so are they not protected. Izogi sensed that Norway might like Malik because they spoke cautiously when Ferreira spoke to Gizo. They later meet in secret, and Navy gives Malik a totem to keep him safe. When he said he had nothing to give her, she just took one of his knives. Norway goes to take a shower and meets Nanisca, who berates her for sneaking away. After the argument, Nanisca approached Navi and told her about the child she gave up. She was the product of rape, and Amanza helped Nanisca hide her and give her away. Nanisca remembers cutting off child's left arm and insert a shark tooth in it. Nanisca cuts into Norway's arm and pulls out her teeth, confirming that Norway is indeed her daughter and therefore Oba aids. Neville leaves in disbelief. The next morning, Nanisca and some of her soldiers kept a close eye on Camp Oyo. They set fire to gunpowder, causing multiple explosions that scared off their horses and made them vulnerable. Agoji's attack leads to a fierce and bloody battle, leaving many Oyo and Agoji died, and led to the arrest of a number of women, including Izogi and Norway. On the carriage going, Neville noticed that the woman's straps were loose, and she encouraged her to get out of the car and run back to Dahomey. Captive Norway helps Izogi try to repair her broken arm. The young woman returns to Dahomey and informs Nanisca that Oyo plans to take revenge on Agoji. Gizo promotes Nanisca but forbids her from taking any action, but she and Amenza rescue the others behind his back. When European slave traders came to capture their captives, Izogi and Norway launched a fight against them, but Izogi was fatally shot and died in Norway's arms as Norway cried for her sister. Norway is imprisoned, but Malik goes to visit her and tell her how the captive got to England. He hopes protect her. They were hinted to have sex afterward. Nanisca led the warriors into the European camp to attack. They set fire to their camp and attacked the men before releasing their captives. Malik opens Ferreira and frees the captors, causing them to drag him into the water, where they beat him and bury his head underwater until he drowned. Norway helps Nanisca in the fight as she ends up facing off against Oba Aid. The man tried to defeat Nanisca, but she overpowered him and impaled him, eventually killing him. Everyone went home, and Nave parted ways with Malik. Agoji returns home with their captive, and Nanisca meets Gizo. Although he admits that she disobeyed his orders, he thanked her for ending the Oyo Empire and officially elevated her to queen. Everyone applauds her. Norway went to pay tribute to Izogi, and Nanisca joined her. Then she called Navia her daughter. The two then went to dance with the others to celebrate.